The law says you cannot touch. But guess what, ladies? I think I see a lot of lawbreakers up in this house tonight. All right. So don't be afraid to come down to the front row and watch me put on a show here on Bauman's Breakdown. What's up, everybody? This is Mike Bauman.
You actually stayed up all night thinking that one up, didn't you?
You know what it was? I was watching the...
I saw that, too. That's why I started laughing. I saw it, too.
What was I watching last night?
It's like Entertainment Tonight or one of those shows. That's where I saw it.
Well, the movies, I think it's coming out on DVD this week, Magic Mike, obviously, which I don't go...
You're going to be busy this week, huh?
I don't go by Magic Mike, but this is Mike Bauman for Bauman's Breakdown. Thanks again, everybody, for checking us out here. Coming at you again from Rossford, Ohio, with my boss producer, Mike Jameson. How you doing, Mikey?
I'm not your boss, man.
We're buddies.
We're equals.
We're buddies, but no, we're not equals because I can't do any of the stuff that you're doing.
Yeah, but I can't do what you do. So see, we're equal.
I guess.
I mean, you did the game that Bishop Reedy game. I mean, you guys sat out there and froze your butts off out there, and
it was fun though, man. I liked it. I mean, my toes were cold, but it was fun.
You nailed it though. I mean, you just the stuff you talking. That's why we hired you, man. We knew right away.
Well, thank you.
You were a zygote, but we knew you were going to do what we needed you to do.
Well, thank you, and of course, Mike. For everybody that's been checking out the show, thank you so much. We really appreciate it here at Bauman's Breakdown. We're over 600 views through the first 6 weeks, which good. I'll take for a nobody that nobody knows. I'll take 100 views a show.
That's just like our Toledo Sports Network.
Hey, man.
Whatever.
So if you are listening, thank you very much for checking us out again. And remember, you can subscribe for free over at iTunes. Just go to iTunes.com, type in Bauman's Breakdown. You'll see all the shows right there for you. You can also go to baumansbreakdown.podbean.com. And by the way, if you want to advertise on the show, Podbean's got a nice little thing set up right now for advertising. So if you can pick regionally, I mean, there's a lot of options for you if you want to advertise on this show. And it's for the cost per hit, it's actually pretty decent. It's pretty decent. So I realize I'm still a little guy, but hey, everybody starts somewhere, right? So if you're listening to this and maybe you potentially want to advertise, just go to Podbean, check it out, go to my show, and you can check it out and check out the options. But I don't want to be a salesman the whole time, Mikey, because that's not what we do. We like to entertain as well, but this is going to be episode 7 now on Bauman's Breakdown, which is crazy because we started this about halfway through the football season. And as Mike was just talking about, we did Genoa Bishop Reedy last week here in Northwest Ohio. It's football time. And, Ohio is one of the biggest high school football states in the country.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we are right there with Texas, Pennsylvania, Florida, and California in terms of just... Especially here, people eat, live, breathe, and sleep it, whether it's Ohio State, Michigan game, college football. By the way, Toledo just got ranked this week. They're 23rd in the AP, 25 in the coaches poll, which is huge. It's the first time they've been ranked since 2001.
It's always a good day when Toledo Rockets are ranked higher than the Michigan Wolverines. Just saying.
But football is huge here in Ohio, and we do the games over at Toledo Sports Network locally, and it's a lot of fun. We're in playoff time right now, and we've had the opportunity, at least I've been with you guys now. This is my 3rd football season.
Yep. Yeah, we've been doing it 5 years. Yep.
So we've had the chance to see Genoa grow from a team that was terrible for a long time, and then Mike Vickers and company come in there, now Tim Spees, and they're on their 6th straight playoff run.
Yep.
This is my 3rd year to be a part of it. We've gotten to see Kyle Nutter, which if you're a football fan, keep an eye on him because I think you're going to be hearing his name at the next level, whether it's Division II or 1. I don't know. I think the kid's got the potential for Division I.
He's a horse.
He's a horse. But it's been so much fun doing these games, broadcasting, in addition to being able to write for Toledo Free Press and do this podcast and give you guys some interviews. But as a huge fan of sports and music, they often go hand in hand, especially some uplifting rock and roll or some hard rock, which I listen to a lot of that. And guess what? This episode, you're going to hear one of my favorite interviews that I've done in the last 6 months. It was just a real personal story, and it was from a guy who's been with a band that has had their fair share of trouble in the music industry, and their new record just came out this year, and they've been doing a lot of touring, hitting a lot of markets, including Ohio and Michigan, and it's been really cool to kind of see these guys have their rebirth. And I am talking about one Aaron Gaynor, the drummer for 12 Stones. And 12 Stones, Mike, got their start. I mean, they were practically kids coming out of Mandeville, Louisiana in the early 2000s. They got inked to Wind Up Records. And I don't know if you remember the song. You're a DJ. You'll probably be familiar from Evanescence called Bring Me to Life.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And the co-vocalist in that song with Amy Lee from Evanescence was Paul McCoy, the vocalist from 12 Stones.
Oh, wow.
So they came out of the gate swinging. And then they kind of hit some bumps in the road. Some different things happened. Long story short, they ended up leaving Wind Up recently within the last couple of years. It's been kind of a bumpy road for them in terms of being able to develop any type of really sustained success in the music industry. They've had a lot of success early, and then things got a little rocky. And in particular with Aaron, you're going to kind of hear in this interview his perspective from what happened with him and his personal story with the band. And he came back in the fold with these guys recently, and their new album has been doing really well. And they've had sort of a resurgence here the last I'd probably say within the last year. They're at a new label now. It's a fresh start. Like I said, they're hitting a lot of places, and Aaron just had a phenomenal story. He was an incredibly nice guy, and one thing I love about music is that it really is a universal language in that it hits you at a visceral level, but when you get to talk to some of these guys and hear their personal stories and how they got to where they are, it's really cool. And Aaron just had a really, really good story, and I had a great conversation with him. And really, this is a pretty inspiring interview. Last week, it was a little bit more on the entertaining side with Chad Nicefield. He's a funny, goofy guy out of Wilson that I talked to. This week, it's going to be it's not, and I'm not saying like serious, like Lifetime movie tearjerker, but it is a very personal story that you're about to hear, and I'm just so happy to bring it to you. So without further ado, I'm going to shut the heck up, everybody. Here is Aaron Gaynor, the drummer for 12 Stones. Well, yeah, I just it's been quite the road for 12 Stones now. What's it been like to sort of come into the fold with these guys?
Well, it's come back into the fold with these guys. I was with them from 2002 until 2010, and left because my wife was diagnosed with thyroid cancer, along with a whole lot of other things happening. There's never just nothing in life happens in a vacuum. So with all of those realities and the challenges we were facing as a band, and then the challenges I was facing at home, it was time to step away. What the band went through while I was away was pretty interesting to see from the outside. But for myself to be back, I'm glad it worked out that way. I'm glad that my wife got well, that we got to the point where I felt like I could come back and give everything I needed to give to the band and to the career. And it's a challenge. 12 Stones has always been a challenge. It's we're not that band that's had all the radio hits and the platinum records and the huge tours, and which basically for a band it translates into not earning a lot. So we've not been able to kind of get ourselves over that hump and enjoy that side of the security of the career. But we've always been working our butts off, loving playing, loving meeting and spending time with the fans, loving putting another record out, and loving the fact that we have an opportunity and appreciating the fact that we have an opportunity to give it another try and see what can go on. There's so much to it. A lot of folks will say all you need is a song. And that's true, but you do have to have the right people, the right promotion of the song, the right people to promote it, to put you where you need to be, and put some muscle behind that song. And that's where we are now. Got some good folks working with us. Got a great album. I think it's 14 tracks on this record. I think all those songs are good, and it's just nice to be back and have another opportunity, like I say.
Well, Aaron, first I just want to say I'm happy your wife's better, man. I can't even imagine what that's like to go through something like that. But I think with this band too, there's so many of those types of things that happen in terms of just like you guys have really been hit with just about every type of blow from the music industry and also personally with different things going on. I mean, what's been the sort of at the core of keeping it together and making sure that you guys keep this going?
Well, I think, for myself, I don't think it's different necessarily for the other guys. I can't speak 100% for them, but I do know that for myself, I've loved playing that instrument, the drums, since I was 10 years old. That's when I got my first kit, and that's all I ever wanted to do with my life was to play drums and play drums on this scale. And that opportunity came along, and obviously I mentioned a couple of minutes ago about why I stepped away from it and why I came back, but that's the thing. When the opportunity came back, my wife and I had those conversations, and I thank you for what you said, by the way, and it is a huge relief. We understand now what it is she's dealing with and how that's going to affect us, so we can kind of could open back up. She's able to work again, I'm able to work again. So for the band, I think it's here's the thing. I think we were writing great music. I think that you can go back to any album and pick a song out and say that's a great song. For some albums, maybe there's many, many more than just one. We believe in what we're doing. We believe in our live show. We believe in ourselves as a band that is worth the fans' time, attention, and money, I guess would be the other way to put it as well. We put in our effort on stage. We put in the effort to make the best sounding record we can. And we believe in it. And I think that's really one of the major things because, as you said, over this decade, just about everything has happened that could in a negative way, whether it be something with a single sitting right where it's about to tip over and go top 20 and something goes wrong, or a tour that's supposed to start that's really going to put us in front of some new eyes and ears that haven't heard us before, and that falls through to record label problems, to personal problems, to member changes. We've had so many bass players come through since our original guy, Kevin. But, we believe in what we're doing, and we have a passion for it, and it's the thing that we want to do with our lives. And as long as we have another opportunity to try again, and we believe that we'll have fans that will show up again and get that record and support us, then I believe that we'll be doing this, Things can change. We're all getting older. I'm going to be 37. The guys are in their 30s. So we have different thought processes and maybe different goals than we did 10 years ago. But we do all believe that they're reachable through the work that we're doing and we have done. And again, trying to find, like I mentioned, there's so many people involved in the process. That's an aspect of it as well, is having another chance to work with a new record label, to work with a new management team and promotion team. And it's a long, hard road for the majority of people who get into this business. Some are overnight successes, not many, and not most. So I guess it's our passion and our love for the fans and the live side, regardless of how difficult the business side can be.
So when you were coming back in, was that you mentioned you kept coming back? After 2010, you were kind of coming back into the fray again when things were going down with Wind Up. What was that like to come back at that time?
What was interesting, the album that we released, actually the EP, the only easy day was yesterday. I had recorded that with the guys. We'd done some in New York, some in Nashville, and it was June of 2010 when I called the guys and explained my wife's diagnosis and what was going on and stepped away. And then I came back in April of this year. So it was about a month, less than a month maybe after I left that Wind Up Records and 12 Stones parted ways. And it's all of those things are there's good and bad and everything. We spent a lot of time with Wind Up Records. We had a long history with them, and I think that relationship had run its course for both parties. And we know Paul just this past week was in New York City, went up for Justin Reimer, former guitar player, went up to his wedding, and Diana, the former owner of Wind Up, was there, and there's still a relationship there with some of the folks from that record label. So I wouldn't describe it as a nasty thing or anything like that. 4 records over 8, 9 years, almost 9 years, I guess, 8 years. And it was interesting. It was a scary thing. I know for the guys to not have a record deal deal and not have a record label, but I do know that over those years with the fans that we had built, the fan base that we had, I know the guys were feeling like, it was just a matter of time before there'd be someone out there who would have the interest and the desire to pick the band up and continue forward, and that's exactly what happened. It's a challenge. It's always a challenge because, like I say, there's so many people who get involved in these processes. And so when that new record deal was signed and the new record was recorded, several things started happening after that that have caused a couple delays and release dates. But it's been a long couple of years. Mikey left, the drummer that came and took my place when I left, and now I'm back, and he's moved on to another situation. Reimer was a little bit older than me, Justin, and he was ready to do more producing and work in the studio, which is what he's doing. So, it's been really interesting. It's with all the different things, whether it's changing labels, doing another record, having myself come back, having Justin step away. There's been a lot of change, even quite a bit of change, and that's inevitable. And I think this time too, I don't think that those changes were all negative. So for me, it was difficult. It was tough to step away after that amount of time and the amount of sacrifices and work that I put into it with the guys. But now that I can look at it in hindsight, I do think I made the right decision, and I got. My wife and I were very lucky that she's feeling good and going to be good enough to work and well enough to work and out of the woods, so to speak, with the big C. So,
well, how has your faith helped you through this, Aaron? Because nobody would have blamed you if you decided not to come back or to take a different path
right.
with what was going on in your personal life. But how do things like just faith and perseverance? What inevitably was able to get you through this with your wife and with this band?
That's a good question. There was a time, a year plus, that the guys and I didn't speak, and that's because I was in North Dakota with my wife, which is where we lived for that amount of time, to be closer to her family, so that she would have that support group. And we had a lot of conversations. We were stuck there, especially for a couple of winters. Couldn't go outside or it would kill you. So we were stuck together inside, and we talked and talked and talked and communicated and communicated and communicated and figured things out as we went along. And the reason I'm back is because of my wife. She did a lot of work to reconnect me with the guys, did a lot of work to give the guys some information that they needed to understand things that were going on. And then once me and Eric and Paul started talking again, inevitably those conversations turned to the band. But as far as myself in that 2-year period and kind of having faith, I had faith that we'd figure out what it was and that we would then be able to decide and understand what our action would be. Initially it was thyroid cancer. My wife's thyroid was removed. There's a tumor on her pituitary gland. Part of her liver was removed with her gallbladder. There's another tumor as well. And so these things kind of kept stacking up on top of one another, and we're looking at each other really, really worried, not even looking past anything other than figuring out what was wrong with her and getting her better. So that's really what happened, is just, we simplified our worry. We simplified our priority list. We simplified our lives to the point where we were capable of dealing with what had to be dealt with, which was daily fear at what was wrong with my wife and what were the consequences of it going to be. And so once we finally found a doctor who was capable of understanding what it was and diagnosing her correctly and getting her on the right medicines and changing the things that needed to be changed for her to get better, that's when we started talking about what we wanted to do and how we wanted to pull ourselves up out of the situation that we were in. And as we talked, what we understood was the only thing that's going to do that is our talents and our hard work. And, the reason that she and I met and fell in love is because of who she is and who I am and what I did and what she did and the kind of people we've become as a result of all of that. So, she was like, you know what, Aaron, you need to be playing drums. You have such a talent. You have this ability to do this. I'm so proud of you and so amazed by what you do. I want you to get back into it if you can. And if you can, I will support you and do what is necessary. So it's been faith. It's been patience. It's been humbling. It's been difficult. But at the same time, I really chose the right one. She's smart. She's got a great brain and a great personality, and she's not trying to change me and control me, and I'm not trying to change her and control her. We're just trying to find a way to enjoy our lives together. So we stuck by each other. We stuck by our guns. We stuck by our decisions. We forced ourselves to have the patience that was necessary to figure it out. And then after that, we've kind of just started putting one foot in front of the other and taking it a day at a time and a step at a time. And it's worked out. I mean, the challenges aren't over. We've got a new album to release now, and I've got to be on tour and be away. And there's the process of getting moved out of North Dakota and her new job in Atlanta, and our desire to relocate to Atlanta and figuring out how to make that happen. And the normal everyday parts of just being alive and being able to count on her like I can. It makes a huge difference. Being part of a team and part of a duo that's equal, and a team that really works together with me and my wife, I feel like that's made a huge difference with allowing us to recover from what we've been through for the past couple of years.
How rejuvenated do you feel at this point in your life and your career with not only with what's going on in your personal life, but with 12 Stones? Because in the beginning for 12 Stones, things really started to move really quickly. I mean, from 2002 with that relationship with Wind Up, and then moving forward with the band. I mean, you guys, things started to develop quickly, and then there was a bunch of road bumps along the way. But after going through all this and now releasing Beneath the Scars, like you said, which is really a massive record. I mean, 14 songs. Cap and Jimmy Swan, Johnny Kaye, Skid Mills were all involved on this. I mean, how rejuvenated do you feel at this point?
For me, when I was talking to the guys at the beginning of this year, coming back and finding out about the record and the details that were behind it, I felt really good. And then I got to hear the record, and like you said, that's a perfect word for it. It is massive. To get 14 tracks put on a record is excellent. It's the exact kind of thing I would have wanted to take place with Potter's Field or with Anthem. We had that number of songs. We always went in with 15 to 20, sometimes more songs, and we always wanted to give the fans as much as we could. That was one thing I really appreciated about this, is that there's a ton of songs. It's an album that keeps giving. For us to ask a fan to buy a record, we're not just giving them 2 singles that the label really liked and a bunch of throwaways or B-sides, which happens with so many bands. And I really feel the opposite. It's a great record. It's different as well in the sense that the production efforts on it are a little bigger, where the drum loops, the strings, the stuff that we kind of we flirted with a little bit on Anthem, and maybe even a touch on when Only Easy Day was yesterday. But on this album, we kind of allowed those aspects of the songs to really be explored and filled out. So kind of expanded our boundaries a bit. Really got to get a bunch of songs on there, and we get to kind of, it is a new beginning. And it's the way that I spoke with the guys. I was like, stepping away from this for 2 years makes you want to do everything different if you get a chance to do it again. When you're back, you want to do whatever work you need to. You want to shake the hands, meet the people, do the shows, have the meetings and the experiences, and you want to try to maximize each one of those, because you know that if it's gone and if it goes away again, you already know how much you're going to miss it. And I'm excited. We've all got, me and Paul and Eric each have kids. They're getting older. Each of us are married. Each of us have a normal life outside of music, but each of us, more and more understanding that separation between what we're doing in our careers and what we have going on at home, understanding the separation and also understanding just how closely those things are separated. It's so challenging to be gone and miss important things. My son's birthday parties, or Paul missing his sister's wedding or graduation, and different things like that. It's very, very difficult. You miss out on a lot of time, a lot of experiences with the people that you love and that you hold close. But at the same time, you get to go and do something that not very many people get to do. So you have an opportunity really to see and observe, the give and take, the good, the bad, the balance of having some kind of successful career and also having successful relationships in the family situation at home. excited. I think that the main thing that we're looking at is we're excited to put this record out. We really hope that this will stabilize us. None of us want to be Chad Kroeger. None of us want to be Nickelback. We just want to be 12 Stones for 12 Stones fans, putting out 12 Stones records, doing 12 Stones tours, and being 12 Stones, you know? And that's where our heads are right now is nobody's talking about, let's get a platinum record. We're all just talking about, let's connect with our fans, let's sell the records, let's keep the label happy, let's keep our fans happy, and let's have a career here that spans even more, maybe another 10 years. And it's a good time to be here. Like I say, we've got some good folks working with the band now and really putting some good things together. And this starting over process is starting to get some legs.
Yeah, and you mentioned not having any, any sort of filler songs in this record, and listening to some of it. I mean, you've got everything from songs like "Bulletproof" and "Infected," which just punch in the gut, to stuff like "Blind" and "That Changes Everything," which you mentioned are sort of more stringy. And I even read sort of the backstory to "I'm With You," which was about somebody who committed suicide. I mean, there's a lot of. Is this like the most personal record that you've been a part of?
I would say probably overall, because of all of those songs that you mentioned, is there's more than one for in each situation and each kind of. Well, you name the songs. That Changes Everything, and Paul writing that one, having the lyrics and the original ideas come from that when he spent a short time in Norman, Oklahoma, living there with his wife, and just the challenges of being a young man in a marriage with a career, I think is what kind of spawned that kind of thing. And the suicide song, I'm With You, we had had a similar thing take place on Potter's Field with the song Photograph. It was someone else that was acquainted with the band that had killed themselves, and that's what that song was about as well. I think the sheer number of songs, the different topics, the different sounds, like you said, there are the songs that are going to punch you in the gut, and then there's the ones that are the kind of the sing along feel goods, and then there's the darker thought process evoking ones, and what's in between, and that's a good thing. It hopefully makes someone that buys the record, I hope that what they'll feel at the end is like, wow, there's I didn't just buy Bulletproof and Infected and Worlds Collide, but that I heard on the radio. I got so much more here as well, and I hope to hear more on the radio. So that's what we're hoping for. And as I say, I hope that if we get another opportunity, I hope we can do it again. I hope we can go write a bunch of 12 Stone songs and get as many of them on the record as they'll allow us, and really give a lot of content, meat to the fans.
How has Executive played a role in that now that you've been back? I mean, it sounds like they're really letting you guys creatively go for it.
Yeah, I think so. And that's one of the things, too, for 12 Stones coming into the relationship with EMG, having already had a relationship with another record label and already having releases and a history under our belt, is they were able to see who 12 Stones was and what we had done and the kind of fan base that we had and what was possible or what was potential with the band. And so, to have them come on board and have that desire as well to be excited about what the band can do and how to make it happen, it's really a big deal, It's really unfortunate that there are bands in the business that have poor relationships or I don't know what the word would be, I'll stick with that have poor relationships with their record labels. It's unfortunate because at the end of the day, we're all just playing music. We're not launching rockets or saving lives. We're writing music, and what we want is for people to hopefully connect with our music and purchase it and support what we're doing so we can continue to. And to have Jimmy and Jacob from ENG, come in and decide that they wanted to be those guys, it's great. It's an interesting thing. Each label's different. Sometimes they're bigger, sometimes they're smaller, sometimes they're really focused and active in certain areas, and other times it's different areas. Everyone's different, and this one being more of an indie and being a smaller record label, I think is a benefit as well. In our situation, we've already got a fan base, and also in that situation, things are less expensive. Large record labels have many employees to pay, and it ends up those costs are transferred to the bands and to the fans. And in this situation, that doesn't have to happen. So, another bonus.
What's it like as a drummer? You mentioned you listened to the record. What was it like to come back and sort of, to learn these different songs and be on a record where there is a lot of diversity?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of nice. My favorite thing about playing is the live experience, is getting on stage and doing our live show. I love the studio as well. I really enjoyed those experiences that I had with the band in the past. And for this one, there's some songs that I'd worked on demoing and doing the initial writing on in Memphis before, even before Anthem came out, with a couple of them, and then after as well. Songs like For the Night, That Changes Everything. I guess the song's called Psycho now. That one was in a different form and a different name back then. So for some of them I was familiar. I just had to learn what the finalizing structures had been and little nuances. But others, like Infected and Bulletproof, we hadn't had. Those were brand new. I hadn't been there for any of that, and so it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And what's also true is coming in and Mikey spending the time with the band that he did while I was gone. I get to come in now and put my take on what we did. Or what 12 Stones did while I was gone, and I get to come in and kind of adjust it and bring it back to what I would do, and that's been a lot of fun as well.
And Aaron, thanks again so much. Well, I'll ask you one more thing before I let you go. I really appreciate the time, but what has it been like to get this new material out to people with this tour, and to come to places like Toledo, where you guys are going to be at headliners? What's it like after everything you've been through, just to have a record that you're proud of? I mean, I got to imagine after all of that struggle and strife for you guys to be at this point now where you have a record that you're proud of and you have a label that you believe in. It doesn't seem like it was. I don't know if it's worth it to go through the struggle, but ideally, it seems like this is definitely the position that you'd want to be in after going everything that you guys went through.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the thing is there's plenty of things that have taken place over the time that could have, finished the band off, could have killed us. And for us to have another opportunity, it's a blessing. It is a blessing. It's an opportunity. It's motivating. Like I mentioned, I'm going to be 37 in July. Actually, with the day we're in Toledo is my brother's birthday. So that's actually the reason when Paul and I were like, we're shooting these overlap, we each have to do one. I said, well, I'll take the one where we're playing on our brother's birthday. My brother's birthday. So, yeah, it's 2 days before mine. He's the 12th, I'm the 14th. And at this age, with my son and my wife and my stepson and the responsibilities, it's the same for all of us in the band. Looking at our kids, seeing them growing up, understanding where we're at in our lives. We're motivated to push this over the top, get it over the hump. Because the experiences we have right now when we're out are meeting people and they say, man, I came from, just finished college last year and blah, 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 got moved, getting settled in. I heard you guys were playing. I came to a show. I've been listening to you guys since I was in grade school or junior high. And all of us, it always blows my mind that, there are so many people that have stuck with us for so long and have been so devoted. There's too many songs. We can't play every song all the fans want to hear every night. People get upset. You didn't play The Way I Feel. Or if we play The Way I Feel, you guys didn't do Fade Away. Or why didn't you do Shadows? Or gosh, Photograph. It's my favorite. And so we experience this reinvigoration every night from these people who come up that have spent their lives with us. The majority of their formative years have been spent with 12 Stones and music and what we've been doing. And for me, it's awesome. It gives me cold chills. It makes me want to keep doing it. I love talking to fans. I've always been that guy who, I'll go out before the show and walk around the crowd. And if someone says, dude, Aaron, 12 Stones, right? I'm like, yep, we'll talk. Take some pictures and hang out. Everywhere, from the festivals to the arena shows to the club shows, regardless of where and what we're doing. Being accessible and doing signings, going to the merch booth after the show, we get so much from our fans. We get so much from the people who have given so much of their time and their lives to us. And for me, it makes me want to give back. And I know the guys still want to give back as well. Here we are, been doing it this long. The joke is, well, if we can't do it again after this, what are we going to do? Paul was 19 when he signed the deal, and Eric was 20, and I came out of radio, so I guess I could go back to radio. But we all pretty much have to keep doing this as hard as we can. Otherwise, we're going to be in pretty strange territory. And we value our fans and the connections that we've made so much. Hopefully, we'll get the opportunity to keep going and keep trying and keep releasing songs and keep going on tour and just be able to make a living, have a career with our fans and with our music.
Well, Aaron, thanks again so much, man, for taking some time with me today. I really appreciate it, and I really do mean that. I'm really happy that things are better with your wife. I actually lost my grandpa in September, who I was extremely close with, and it was kind of hard the last couple of years watching him battle just aphasia and early onset of Alzheimer's and stuff. So it's great to hear that you guys were able to at least make it through that and are in a better place, man. So genuinely happy for you guys for sure.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And I thank you for the time. To me, I really appreciate that there are still some folks out there that want to do an interview and want to talk to us and find out what's going on and answer some questions. I'm thankful and appreciate it very much. And anytime, anything you need, I know you got in touch with us here through Ryan Feldman, and I'm in touch with him on a daily basis by email or whatever. And if you need something else, just let us know, and then one of us will get on the phone with you and we'll take care of it. I appreciate it very much, man. Thank you.
All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Once again, that was Aaron Gaynor, the drummer for 12 Stones, and I know I say it all the time. Like, one of my words is super nice, or one of my couple of words that I always use. He was a super nice guy. But Aaron Gaynor was a really, really cordial person. There you go. There's cordial.
Yeah, cordial's a good word.
There's a journalist word for you. But he was really cool, man. And that interview was from the summer. When they came through Toledo, when they were really starting to get the ball rolling with Beneath the Scars, their first record since 2007, and their first with Executive Music Group leading the way after they broke away from Wind Up. It's been about a little over 2 years now that they broke away from Wind Up, but they got Skid Mills to produce it. Saving Abel, Saliva, Skillet. It's 14 tracks. It's got a little bit of everything on there, and like I said, they've been really hitting the ground running. They've toured a lot of places with this. They've actually been to Toledo twice from the time that I did that interview to now. They've hit this market twice. So wow. I'm really happy when I see guys like Aaron, who went through what he went through with his wife and what she was battling, to come back into the fray and still have music, which is such a huge part of his life. It's a cool story. It's a really cool story, and that's why I like bringing this stuff to you guys, because it just goes to show you that no matter what you do in life, we're all unified as human beings by struggle, and everybody goes through stuff. It doesn't matter if you're living in Toledo, Ohio, doing a show in Rossford every Monday morning called Bauman's Breakdown, or if you're Aaron Gaynor and you're part of a national touring band and you went through some stuff, or if you're the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Like, everybody has stress and strife and struggle, but if you have faith and a little bit of luck too, but if you have faith and you do things the right way and you work hard, I do think that eventually things pan out. Some people's eventuallys is sooner than others. Some people's peaks are sooner than others, but it's nice to see a good guy like Aaron Gaynor get back on his feet again with 12 Stones. And for them as a band to have this record under EMG with Beneath the Scars, like I said, their first one since Anthem for the Underdog, and that be able to tour the way that they're touring and have the support that they have, not only from their fans but from EMG. It's really cool, man. It's really cool, and I'm happy that Aaron Gaynor is continuing to drum, because he's a phenomenal drummer, and he's been playing drums pretty much his whole life. And for him to be able to come back and do this after what he went through, it's really, really cool. It's really cool. So remember, you can check out 12 Stones at 12stones.com. You can also go to facebook.com/12stones. They're going to be on tour through December 22nd, right before Christmas. If you're a little kid and you call it Christmas and you can't enunciate. But they will be on tour through December 22nd. So wherever you're listening from, you can go to facebook.com/12stones or go to their website, check out the tour dates, see if they're coming into town near you. Likely that they are. I know that they're going to be here in the Midwest, a couple of places in Michigan. They're going to be in Ohio again within the next couple of months. So if you're from the local area, I think you can check them out in like Warren, Battle Creek, places that aren't too far away if you're a huge fan. But yeah, man, it was really cool to do this one for episode 7. I'm really happy to be in the 7th week of doing this with Mike.
Yay.
We've had some fun, and this is really my favorite time of the year too. I mean, because we got basketballs back into the fray.
Get a week off, Thanksgiving week off.
Yeah, we'll be off.
State Michigan game.
We'll be able to see the border battle, and then we'll be getting into some high school basketball broadcasting locally, and then not only that, but college basketball is back. That starts up this week.
I know.
It's crazy. I can't believe how fast 2012 is gone. But basketball's back. I'm bummed out that hockey's not back. Damn it! They canceled the Winter Classic.
I know.
I mean, how are you going to leave that much money on the table?
You know what? NBA's on its way next year. So.
You had 2 original 6 teams playing at the big house.
Yep.
I mean, how the NHL left that much money on the table? When millionaires fight billionaires for pennies, folks, bad things happen. But anyway, it's a phenomenal time of the year. I love it. I love the holidays. I love Christmas. And I plan on continuing to give you guys new episodes every Friday. If you're unfamiliar with the schedule here at Bauman's Breakdown, that's how we roll. We give you 1 new episode every Friday. Depending on how things go, who knows what will happen in the future. But right now we're taking it week by week, and we're in week 7. And more than 600 of you have visited my channel and have checked out the show on some level. So thank you very much once again. BaumansBreakdown.podbean.com. Go to iTunes.com/BaumansBreakdown. And I encourage you, if you like the show, please subscribe, because that way iTunes can track my listeners, and it's beneficial for everybody involved. You can always have my show whenever you plug in your iPod or your iPhone. It'll immediately download the newest episodes, so you never have to worry about missing anything. You don't have to worry about manually doing it. And like I said, that way we know how many people are listening, and that's always a good thing in trying to build an audience. So thank you very much. I plan on giving you guys a lot more stuff. I have some cool stuff coming up here locally that I'm excited to give to you guys if it all works out. There's going to be some much more cool interviews on the way. But thank you, Aaron Gaynor. I want to give them a shout-out, and him personally a shout-out. I really appreciated the time, man. I'm so happy for you. I'm glad things are going well again with your wife and with 12 Stones. I really appreciated the interview. And, 12 Stones, baby. Check them out. Beneath the Scars, new record. Once again, check them out on tour if you get the chance. They're a great live band. So with that being said, everybody, we're going to wrap things up here on this Monday morning. Well, it's going to be a Friday when you're listening to it. So enjoy your weekend. Be safe. There's going to be some good college football on if you're a college football fan. And if not, you can always go to the store and rent one of your Lifetime movies if you're into that type of stuff and the tearjerker crap. I'm not really into it.
Yes, you are.
But if you're into it, rent it. Or you can rent Magic Mike with Matthew McConaughey.
That's a tearjerker.
See all the lawbreakers up in this house tonight. He actually lost a lot of weight, though, didn't he?
Yeah,
for his new role.
Yeah, an AIDS victim or something.
He really slimmed down, man. He really slimmed down. But anyway, have a good weekend. Thank you again for listening to the show. And remember to check us out at ToledoFreePress.com. You can go there, search my name, Mike Bauman. You can find my handiwork as a writer. You can also go to ToledoSportsNetwork.com if you absolutely need to put a face to this voice that you hear every week and see some of my broadcasting work. And see the work that we do at Toledo Sports Network. And I'm also on Twitter at mbauman5. And with that being said, I will stop plugging things like a crazy Bible salesman and say thank you again. And remember, keep the faith and be kind to one another, everybody. Peace.